if I were to be like a Christian that were to attack you on your skeptical views, you want to practice that sometime? Let me know.
I'm right here.
Skeptical theism.
Oh, not Christian.
No, skeptical nihilism or something like that. Like
Oh, the
certainty to
epistemological
everything being of
nihilist
knowledge.
stuff.
Oh yeah. Did you get that paper I sent about the problem with the criterion?
No, I don't really read papers anymore though. They're too like take too much concentration, and a lot of them are difficult reading.
Dude, look, your rhetorical skills are like top notch. If you were to just do that, push yourself to do that, you would just destroy people left and right by just reading the
How do you
shit
know
part
that, David?
like that. It was revealed to me in such a way that I cannot be wrong about it. Even though you have a, as you said, philosophical ceiling, I think that would really be beneficial. So, do you agree that, let's say I'm going to play devil's advocate, do you agree that your view is that nobody can have knowledge?
Yeah.
Isn't that a knowledge claim?
No. I don't think that any beliefs are justified, including my belief that
Wait, that
epistemological
that
nihilism is
proposition
true.
is true, right? That proposition is true. You believe that proposition is true.
Yeah, I believe it, and I believe that it's true, but I don't think I'm justified in believing it.
But if
What?
look,
What?
if nobody can know stuff, right? And if nobody can have knowledge, so knowledge presupposes truth, and I assume you reason to that conclusion, right?
Yeah, but I don't think that we can that relying on our reasoning to reach conclusions is
Man, it's
justification because we can't.
self-refuting. You're putting up a
No, it's
standard.
not. How is
Yes,
it?
it is.
It's completely internally consistent.
It's not.
Uh,
You're
Well,
Ao,
saying
yeah.
please,
your
I'm
you're
trying to
saying
have a
your
conversation. I don't
reason.
talk to people whose names start with an
I
A,
know.
and I'm
So you
talking to
can
Dutch
just
David.
listen. You don't stupid as fuck. You guys are dumb as fuck. Don't even have a conversation.
Look, it's a clear item of knowledge, right? As a basic belief.
He
Let's
rage
move.
quit.
All right.
uh, it's not a
Let's
knowledge
see.
claim, David.
Let's see.
Look, I can.
What?
So let's just
Go
take
ahead.
modus
Go ahead.
ponens, right? I've reached conclusions, some conclusions using modus ponens, but I don't think that those conclusions are justified because what could my justification for modus ponens be? Do you have justification for modus ponens?
So I assume that we both just discovered those truths, right? Those are necessary truths, right? The laws of logic, mathematical truths that we discover.
How do you know
But
that?
unless I hold up, so right now I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm doing an internal critique of your view, right? So unless I'm misunderstanding what
Yeah. So in my
epistemological
so step
nihilism
into
is,
my view and tell me how I can know that stuff though.
but so I think what they want to do, and they'll use the problem with criterion for that, is to say, so unless you keep asking how do you know that, how do you know that, right? That's reiterative skepticism. You can just be ignored because that's not a substantive position. Sorry, substantive. I need to talk slower in English. Substantive position. And if there's an argument, right, that for example a particularist cannot have knowledge, or like somebody who pulls the Moorian shift, then you have to argue for that. But you don't believe that we can argue to a conclusion, right? Because we cannot know stuff. That's what they would say.
Well, I do think look, if both parties presuppose that modus ponens is uh a way to reach true beliefs, but not that they're just I mean I wouldn't say they're justified, but if they accept conclusions from modus ponens arguments, then we can still use modus ponens, but I don't have justification for modus ponens, I just do it. Now when somebody comes along and says modus ponens exist necessarily, I would ask them what's their justification for that, because what did they reason that, right? They can't, I mean their reasoning can't be justification. Like, do you disagree with me about that like
Right. Are you
reasoning can't
saying
be
that
justification?
are you saying that people do not need justification, right, to have a justified true belief, as
I
in
don't
like
think
we
they
don't need
have justified
justification
true
or belief?
beliefs, but I think you can have true beliefs without being justified in believing them.
Assalamu alaikum.
Shut up. So how would you? So I'm a
Why,
bit
why you will
confused,
say
right?
shut up,
Because
Habibi? Be respectful, okay?
all right. So anyway, so I'm a bit confused, right? Because the person that claims we need certainty to have knowledge, I thought the skeptic claimed you need certainty to have knowledge, right? So that's why the Gettier cases are such a problem. But you're saying
I
you
don't
don't
think the
need.
Gettier cases are a problem for. I don't think the Getty cases are the problem for justification at all, because you could just add the further criteria to justify true belief that there also exists no true proposition that if known by the person, they would no longer be justified in believing X. So that's just JTB plus. So I don't think that the Gettier cases are a reason to have a problem with justification. And certainty is just like some psychological state. I don't think that that has
Right.
anything to do
Dutch,
with the
she's
problem
rejecting the
either.
trilemma.
But okay, so then I'm confused. Then it seems to me that you are more like a particularist, that you start with clear items of knowledge without needing a justification for it. I'm not sure why you're
Wait, I
being
start with
being a
what?
skeptic, because you start with clear items of knowledge,
I
right,
don't know what
without
that means.
needing
Items of
justification.
knowledge.
Stuff that you believe that you don't have a justification for,
Yeah,
and you are
everybody
to
does.
intuit that right.
Right, so they're
So
not
how are
justified.
you
They're
then?
just arbitrary. They're not justified.
Yeah, so basic beliefs don't need a justification in that sense on the particularist view, right? But they still would call that
Look,
knowledge, but without
David.
justification, they would say, I don't need
Look,
justification.
I take justification to mean that like it's something that raises the probability that your belief is true. And if you're uh the beliefs, the basis of your foundation, your I'm sorry, the foundation of your worldview are just all these beliefs that you just believe like arbitrarily on a whim and that you can't say are more probable to be true than not, then and like all these other supposed justifications presuppose those things, then I don't think that that's justified. Why, if you don't know the probability of the belief you're starting with, then how can you use that belief to say that other beliefs are probable? I just don't get it.
So what probability would you appeal to just wait? What probability would you then appeal to for your basic belief, right? That are not dependent on or derived from other beliefs like modus ponens or like 2 + 2 is 4.
What probability you said?
Yeah, because you
I
talked
don't think we
about you
have
need
access
so
to the probability, David. Do you think we have access to it?
well. Okay, we might be on a sidetrack right now because I'm. Are we talking about Bayesian probability, or are we talking about background information to arrive at a conclusion that you have a high degree of certainty or something like that? What are you talking
I
about?
don't know why people always bring up certainty because that's just, like I said, some psychological state. I don't see how that's relevant to justification.
Oh, okay, so
I think to me it sounds like it's like a problem of the priors kind of issue. That no matter what starting point you have, there's going to be a question about what the probability of the things in the background are. So let's say you start at some x and you take x to be true, there's always going to be the question as to why x is true. Like how do you know that?
yeah, so
Like
that's
how do you derive that it is like a one
Look,
or a zero?
David, let's just go back to the modus ponens thing. So if you're not justified in using modus ponens, like I'm not justified in using modus ponens, do you
hmm
think I am? Like I just do it, right? And I accept the conclusions of modus ponens. I think that they're
well,
true, but
okay.
I don't, if I don't, do you agree with this? If I don't have justification for modus ponens, then I'm not justified in believing that the conclusions of modus ponens are true. Do you accept that?
No, because I think the particularist, which is a position I used to hold to, or I still think is respectable, they would say just like you, they intuit those things to be true, and they don't have a justification, or they say I don't need to know that I know, I just know, right? So you start with
Why
that
would I think that an
with a
intuition
belief.
increases the probability that a belief is true?
No, this is not about probability. They just start with it as they say in the literature. It's a clear a clear item of knowledge. In this case,
Yeah,
a logical
arbitrarily
truth
on a
or
whim. So
a
what if somebody
mathematical
comes
truth.
along and says, "Well, I arbitrarily on a whim think that all conclusions from modus ponens are false"?
Right. So
What's the symmetry breaker?
there's nothing you can appeal to a person who rejects or who rejects the laws of logic or who doesn't have the same intuition, right? Because you would appeal to the laws of logic to try to refute them. So the point is, the particular says, just like you just use them, right? Or you just believe that that is true, but you don't have a justification for it. That's what the particulars would say, and I'm just trying to understand how your position is different. Your epistemological nihilism is different than particularism, because I thought that on epistemological nihilism it just means we don't have knowledge. Nobody can know anything, right? There are no truth claims or knowledge claims that anybody can make. I thought that was your position.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you mean by I guess I don't know what you mean by particularism, but that is my claim. Look, if you disagree with my claim, then tell me how to justify stuff.
Okay, so, but then you are just, look, we should probably have to
Look,
talk about that
so we
problem
disagree.
with
We
criterion
agree that you don't
article.
have justification for
No, we
modus
agree.
ponens, right?
Okay, so but the particularist doesn't need a criterion or justification for their basic beliefs or the, for their seeming or whatever, right? They just start with their basic beliefs and clear items of knowledge without justification. And I thought, again, that epistemological um, nihilism just means that nobody can actually know anything, any proposition. Uh, there's no fact of the matter if a proposition is true or false.
Wait, why do
That
you think? Wait, there's no fact of the matter whether or not a position is true or false. You said, why would somebody accept that?
Okay, so it could be the case that I think that global skepticism or yeah, that global skepticism was your position. I thought that was the same as epistemological nihilism. If not, then I'm just mistaken about your view. If you say, oh, we can, what's that background noise?
Wait, I'm Gavin had an open mic. I muted him. Wait, you thought that my position was that there's no fact of the matter over anything? I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so
It's not global
epil-
skepticism, Dutch.
sorry.
It's not global skepticism.
Okay, then what is epistemological nihilism? Because then I was just mistaken about her view.
She's just denying justification. That's it.
As in nobody has justification, or nobody needs justification to believe something, to have knowledge.
There is no, like, knowledge is justified true belief. So if you don't have any justified true beliefs, you don't know anything. But that doesn't mean you don't believe things, and it doesn't mean that things aren't true, and it doesn't mean that you don't believe things that are true. You can have true beliefs and be unjustified in them. Now, if you have some way to justify a belief, please tell me what it is. I've been asking people for this for years, and nobody can seem to tell me how they justify something.
Oh, now I get you. Okay, so well then, so okay then
David,
again
do you
back to the
know that you're
problem.
talking to
Now
me
I
right
think I
now? Can
understand.
you justify that you're talking to me right now?
Dude, don't do the solipsism on me. Come on, have some respect. What the fuck?
Please, I'm
Okay,
asking for your
anyway,
help.
so
If you
Not
can help
solipsism.
me, if you can help me have justification, please help
sneaky,
me.
she's so sneaky. Okay, listen, okay, so I think I literally heard you say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that if Christian theism is true, you don't believe it, but if it were true, people could have actual justification and knowledge in the sense that we could know that external world exists. God knows all true propositions. He has the power to make it known to the known subject. Correct. So I could make the conditional claim that if Christianity is true, we can have knowledge and justification in a sense. Or if I were to be, I don't know, an agnostic and were to try and troll you or give you a hard time, I would just say, well, I'm just going to be a particularist.